Next up is Evansville, and I've mentioned Evansville before. It's kind of like a leader in this particular area, and so it's a tri-state region. You got kind of that northern and western Kentucky, the southeastern Illinois, southwestern Indiana. They're pretty much the capital of all of that area is Evansville, and so you have a lot of for example, television companies located here. So a lot of companies that serve this surrounding area that is somewhat underserved and doesn't really have any other major urban areas besides Evansville. But Evansville has historically, like much of the state of Indiana, been very dependent on manufacturing, and it has seen a decline in manufacturing. However, it's nothing as severe as you would see in the opposite corner of the state there in the northern and eastern part of Indiana. So down here you see manufacturing is declining, but still is still kind of hanging on and still playing a key role. Now, something to look for in the future is once Interstate 69 is completed, what that's going to do is it's going to, in a much quicker way, link Indianapolis with Evansville. But at a bigger scale, it's going to link Detroit with all the way down to Texas. So this is the role of interstates and transportation, and I would argue Southwest Indiana, in particular Evansville, is a place if you want to bet, if you want to do some gambling, bet on this area of the state. This is an area of the state that's going to grow, and for the most part, it doesn't have much to grow from. A very, very poor area of the state, very rural. But you're going to see, I mark my words, this is going to become a cluster of areas, and an area that's going to see a little bit more economic vitality once I-69, the interstate, comes through there and is completed, linking up Indianapolis and Evansville. But the big thing is, in the case of Evansville, we have to understand is the role of Toyota. And so Toyota moved down here, and the plant is just cranking out SUVs, as this article title implies, left and right. Why is the attraction of Toyota to Evansville so important to Evansville's economy? Very simple answer, the multiplier effect. And so the idea here is you attract a basic industry. And a basic industry is one which produces primarily goods exported to other regions. And so Toyota SUVs, they ain't all staying in Evansville. They're being shipped throughout the Midwest and Southeast. And so here is a good example of a basic industry. Something that is produced, so typically it's secondary sector. So another example, in Columbus, they have Cummins Diesel as their basic industry, in which it supplies a lot of jobs. And so it's going to attract workers. And so now when you attract workers, they're going to need places to live. So it's going to help the housing market. It's going to, when they have places to live, they now need to get groceries. They now need to go to Home Depot and fix up stuff. So what those are non-basic industries. And so those are typically tertiary sector jobs that serve the local market. So you attract all these workers via the basic industry. That's only going to increase, and only going to increase the number of jobs that are created, because now you have to have people working at Menards. You're going to have people working at barbershops, restaurants, hotels, yada, yada, yada. And so that's the multiplier effect. And so not only do you get the X number of jobs from the Toyota plant, but you get even more jobs in terms of the tertiary sector, service sector jobs to serve those workers that have either moved to an area for this particular factory or moved nearby to take advantage of the growth of the Toyota plant. Here we see the manufacturing kind of over time, kind of just teetering along. And that's definitely the case in Evansville. So we haven't seen the dramatic declines in other places like we've seen here. And so also what's going on there is the fact there's also Alcoa, a metals manufacturer that's located down here. And it's, they make a lot of very, very lightweight metals. And that's now the new thing, because we want things to be sturdy. We want metals that are strong, but we also want them to be light. So that's something that's now in demand. And so because of that, Alcoa, a company that's actually based out of Tennessee but has a large facility here in Evansville, is also helping to kind of offset what would be otherwise losses in manufacturing. When we look at the population pyramid for Evansville, we kind of see some things to be concerned about going forward, and that's a quickly aging population. If you look at all those age groups above 45, you can see, for the most part, all the way up to 80, you can see on average there are more older people in Evansville than the rest of the country. So it's a quickly aging population, so that's going to be a key concern, is once again attracting young people to fill those jobs that once these aging people retire and are now available. So definitely a brain drain problem, and so it's definitely a key here at Evansville is attracting and retaining the youth for the old age dependency ratio that's only going to increase over time.